Zen against energy vampires. Yes, guys, you heard it right. Use some Zen approaches against energy vampires that never cease to persecute or harass you, or both. And I suppose that's the most at least one of the most found, fundamentally effective approaches against shit in life. What is going on, YouTubers and my fellow viewers, subscribers, and my most beloved patrons? It's the 4th of May, year 2025, both at Australian Eastern Standard Time / Sydney time and local Beijing, also known as Peking time. Again, I beg your pardon for my stuttering, or at least occasional and kind of intermittent stuttering. But since I found today to be rather sunny and relatively speaking beautiful day / less hostile, less shitty day. And yes, in particular, yeah, the ambient light seems fairly adequate. Hence, I filmed this video, to share, to examine and share with you guys some of my thoughts, some more of my thoughts about life, about, philosophy of living our lives, respectively speaking. So, I believe, yes, I did, I did mention and kind of briefly talked about, how to handle energy vampires and those that disrespect you, and blah blah blah. I, however, noticed that I might have, overlooked some other, crucial and critical points. I reckon that matter quite a bit. And yeah, so just bear in mind that you cannot change your past and your, your trauma, and you can't make those well, at least, most of the time, you can't make those that dislike you like you, well, at least, not in a conventional way. Though, yes, there are some ways that you can enforce, that you can somehow, force respect on the disrespectful. Well, sometimes, or or less frequently. For some, highly, highly, strong dudes with a bit of charisma to impose on, on those that are kind of, sensitive and malleable, maybe even sometimes also um, gullible, and which kind of makes them highly susceptible or vulnerable to suggestions and manipulations. And thus, you can kind of indoctrinate them into doing things you desire them to do for your own benefits and advantages that you can take somehow advantages of. But yes, I suppose that can wait until my next video about how to handle, how to control your emotions, part 3, and blah blah blah. So yeah, basically we tend to impose and inflict a lot of pain, a lot of unnecessary pain, and slash imaginary pain, imaginary trauma onto and against ourselves, by overthinking, by over analyzing the worst possible outcomes or scenarios. Say, well, I suppose in my case, since I imagine I have lost a great deal of good people, authentic and loyal people, including but are not limited to, say, my old man, my grandma. And I've also I'd say wasted or squandered a great deal of my youth on frivolous things like fapping, porno, sleeping around, and blah blah blah. Though I'm not exactly against those that enjoy sleeping around, since more often than not, sex, particularly casual sex, can serve as a good cope, as a some sort of anesthetic against trauma and pain, and the fundamental afflictions that comes with living this life, that comes with trying to cope with this shitty life. So yeah, but I suppose I kind of currently only have my offshore bank accounts and this flat to lose. So I suppose the worst possible outcome I can think of is that these two occur to me concurrently or simultaneously on the same day at the same time. So yes, other than that, I suppose I pretty much have nothing else to lose, and I can, well, and thus that makes me quite relatively speaking, free to take actions on my own accord, and blah blah blah. Though yes, I do need to you know, continue to work on improving myself, say my mental health, my physical health slash my physique, and the degree of fitness, and my mental tolerance, or I should say the pain tolerance. Yes, pain tolerance. Though I'm not necessarily suggesting that you should behave like a doormat or a scapegoat to take whatever fire or blame that other people or life is itself throws at you. No, not at all. But on the contrary, you should know exactly when and how to cast off your emotional burdens, if not also trauma, and leave them behind at the most remote corner of your mind, of the whole piece of reality that you live in and you can perceive and analyze, and blah blah blah. Yeah, and yes, knowing how to cast them off, knowing how to cast them aside and leave them behind somewhere remote. That's one point. That's only one hand. On the other hand, you should know how to, how to forge or cultivate the practice of apathy and indifference slash the level of emotional and psychological in inertness, inertness or idleness, and kind of behave like those noble gases or metals, say gold, neon. Um, you know, well, I don't know if in terms of science, in terms of chemistry, nitrogen also falls into the category of noble gases or blah blah blah. But yes, still, despite that, nitrogen exhibits, relatively speaking, low degree of reactivity. Since it's fairly stable. Due to its triple bonds between the two you know between the two atoms that which a nitrogen molecule generally and naturally consists of. So yeah, so be like noble metals or gases like gold, silver, platinum, and neon, and maybe also yes, argon. Yes, I think yes, I can think of these two kinds of noble gases elements. Be non-reactive. Be apathetic. To in particular, to those that to those things and trauma and your past that you can't change, and your current say outside in environment that you have utterly no say to, and say that which can include but are not limited to, say, the current structure or system of governance in your fellow state or country or region you are currently residing in. And if that be the case, and you happen to have a sufficient amount of cash or money or savings at your disposal, why not just relocate to somewhere in which you have you have more say, you have more power, you have more say in entitlements or rights to to kind of sway or bend your reality to your favor, to your advantages. Yeah. Um, and yeah. Last but not least, I would like to refer to and quote another rather famous biblical verses, a biblical verse, say from the Old Testament, from the book of Proverbs, which is, yes, I suppose, yeah, Proverbs chapter 20, chapter 5, verse 26 or 23, yes, that says, yes, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. That I suppose emphasizes, how much it matters to govern, to manage, to control your own thoughts and mindsets, and how you manage your emotions, your mind can greatly affect your reality, or at least your perception of your reality or the reality in general. Though I'm not, again, it does not necessarily imply or suggest that I am trying to lecture you or instruct you on things that you shouldn't do or you mustn't do or blah 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 or whatnot. No, on the contrary, you are free to do whatever you feel like or whatever that brings you enjoyment, fulfillment, or peace, or at least a temporary mitigation or alleviation or relief to your pain and agony and afflictions. So since, well, certain practices or disciplines of self-improvement may work on someone, but it may still fail to work on someone else, due to different psyches, different, say, what's the term? Yeah, archetypes. So it may work, say, may work on a certain archetype, say a goldsmith or a banker, but it may not work on those that happen to share some traits or happen to feature or exhibit some archetype traits, say a healer or a leader, say slash a king. So yeah, so and not to mention that not to mention the fact that I haven't yet taken into account the genders, the family or ethnicity backgrounds, cultural upbringings, different types of say cultural customs and blah blah blah. So yeah, And yes, on the other hand, I begin, to sense or at least suspect that my life has, come quite close to an end. Say, I've been experiencing, a lot more physical pain that occurs concurrently with my psychological pain and trauma. Say, back pain, chest pain, shoulder pain, and arm, elbow pain. That often radiate to other parts of my body from time to time. Say, I have lost track on exactly when they started to occur. But most recently, they become quite that become quite rampant, and they nowadays tend to radiate throughout my, not exactly throughout, the both both sides of my my drawers, my jaws, my jaws. Um, but I looked up, NHS and the Google and the NHS website. I do kind of start to perceive a high likelihood that I may sooner or later die of a heart attack or cardiac arrest. Though I'm not, trying to curse myself or trying to, enchant the, the self-diagnosis with the worst possible outcome or scenario onto myself. No. But the whole point is that sooner or later we will all have to die, and kiss our sorry asses goodbye to this heartless, ruthless, and cruel world. And we can't take anything along with us to the other side of this world, of this shitty life. So why take life so seriously? Though I'm not saying that you shouldn't once or twice think on some serious thoughts as to how to reduce pain, how to maximize pleasure and enjoyment while living this life. But yeah. So long story short, keep your distance from energy empires, and in case those energy vampires happen, to be your parents or a parent, toxic parents or toxic parents that you can't seem to get rid of, just cut them out and keep your distance from them as much as you can, and stop giving them thoughts. Stop caring, stop caring about them, no matter say how much money they've got, how much sort of influence or close bonds they claim to have on you. Just stop giving a freaking piece of flying shite about their very existence. Say just try your best to act or pretend as if they don't exist at all, and live your life to the fullest. Say, and speaking of living your life to the fullest, I mean, whenever, you are feeling not so depressed or drained, then that's the time you should start um, doing a bit of work that you kind of enjoy, say making a video, creating or modifying some sort of art to make you some, at least to kill some boredom, kill some time. And on the other hand, you do stand to benefit from so doing. Well, at least it gives you, it draws more attention to you, the attention from those that kind of happen to vibrate on highly similar, if not identical, um, frequencies um, to you, to us. Yeah. So um, and give them, show them. Though I'm not saying like something like show them no mercy, but give them no attention nor quarter to um, extract energy or attention or time from you, and be less, if not totally, not reactive to their requests, to their naysayings, to their dark sayings, and to their, suggestions or negative affirmations, even indoctrination, saying that you can't do certain things or you can't go to some places to self actualize or achieve your goals, aka let no one, including yourself, tell you that you can't achieve certain things, or that you can't do, that you can't make it. Even not even me. Say I am just a random netizen, a dude, a random dude on the interweb. I don't know, about you guys, full stories, the whole picture. So um, disregard what I've said that serves. Feel free to disregard or dismiss whatever I said that serves you no benefit. So yeah, just learn to be yourself, but on the other hand, pretend if you have to, so that you can shield and protect yourselves from harms, from all those unnecessary troubles, unnecessary afflictions, unnecessary pain, and blah blah blah. And what else have I forgotten to mention? Yes. So yes, last but not least, examine, take time to examine your thoughts, and on the other hand, share them if you feel like you can articulate them. Since it trains up your speech, it helps boost or level up your level of confidence or self-esteem. Um, and yeah, furthermore, it prepares you for bigger actions in better places, to achieve higher goals, to earn more money, to bang more gorgeous looking females with curvaceous bodies and blah blah blah. Just work your angles to enjoy, to learn to enjoy and learn from your past trauma and pain, and learn to enjoy, whatever, good things or things enjoyable that you have access to, and yeah, make do with the cards that you can deal. Make do with whatever resources or abilities or, so-called a knack for achieving certain types of goals or talents that people oftentimes say you have. Yeah, so yeah, I suppose, yes, I have talked enough in this filming session, and if you do happen to have found something useful or something beneficial, in whatever I've said during this filming session, please consider giving this video a like and smashing, yes, by smashing the like button, and consider subscribing to my channel. So yeah, so that we can, help one another as brothers in, bro, you know brothers in arms, in, and keep ourselves satiated in bromance, in the ultimate form of bromance. So yeah. So in any regards, in case I am about to kick my bucket very soon, thank you again. And if God's still willing, yeah, see you around on YouTube, on Rumble, on BitChute, on Patreon as well. So yeah, take care, stay out of trouble, and cheers. Bye.